Buonasera a tutti, spero che tutto vada molto bene per tutti voi. Mi chiamo Charlotte e in questo video vi parlerò di 10 verbi essenziali in italiano. So I'm going to talk to you today about 10 essential verbs that you can study during the lockdown, I've chosen these verbs for a particular reason. A, because they're very, very common verbs. B, some of them are essential in forming different tenses. So those are the 2 auxiliary verbs. And then C, because I wanted to give you examples of regular verb conjugations for the 3 types, ARE, ERE, IRE verbs, as well as some very irregular ones. So I've chosen based on those parameters. And this also should be said, this video is primarily for those members of my Italian club, Ciao Cesto. So we meet normally the first Tuesday of the month. Today it's the 5th of May 2020 and currently we're in lockdown here. Ed è causa di quello blocco che faccio un video per voi invece di venire a vedervi. Dunque spero di vedervi molto presto. So this is why I'm doing a video and I hope to see you very soon. We'll see how that goes. So let's start. 10 essential verbs. Ascoltate. These are just going to be in the present tense. So first verb, ARE verb, parlare, parlare. Okay, so that's P-A-R-L-A-R-E. In Italian, P-A-R-L-A-R-E, parlare. So whenever I'm talking about a verb, you'll probably hear me talk about a verb stem and verb endings. So this is the first type of verb. Let me just check you can see. An ARE verb, because they're the letters it ends with. When you want to take the verb, which means to speak, and say I am speaking, that's the present tense, something I'm doing now, then you need to take off the ending, that's the ARE, and that leaves you with the stem of the verb, or the root of the verb, okay, the main part. So as you will see on here, and as most of you should be aware, this is the handout, top left hand corner you'll see parle, 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 parle. So you'll see the stem written out 6 times, that's for each personal pronoun. So for the I form, io parlo, just add an E there. In the tu form you would add an I. Tu parli, you, informal, you speak. He or she, parla. So, io parlo, tu parli, lui, lei parla. Okay? So, the noi form, which is us, as all noi forms in the present tense, ends with iamo, parliamo. It doesn't matter what type of verb it is, it could be ARE, ERE or IRE. It's going to have that iamo ending in the we form, present tense, okay? We're going to see lots of these, but I'm going to try and go through them quickly. So this is an ARE verb, and that's important when it comes to the voi form, which means you, plural. Parlate. So it keeps the A from the ARE ending, and then you add TE, ate. Voi parlate. Che lingua parlate? Quale lingua parlate voi? And then we get to the ending for they, which in Italian is loro. Loro parlano. A-N-O. So let's just have a little look at those endings again. These are regular verbs, so verbs like mangiare, parlare, aspettare, ascoltare, guardare, all those very regular, very common verbs, and there's loads of ARE verbs that are regular in Italian. These are the endings. Let me make sure that you can see here. So we've got Can you see on my sheet? Let me just see. Should refocus. Or maybe not. There you go. Well, hopefully you can see. Parlo, parli, parla, parliamo, parlate, parlano. Again, I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me very well when I turned my head. I'm looking at the monitor here, and also for some reason it wouldn't focus then. But you'll see those endings again and again. Okay, now we've got the verb, which is an ERE verb. Prendere. Prendere. Okay, I'm going to write this one down here. And I'm going to write it down this way. Excuse me, that was my phone. Here's the verb. Prendere. ERE verb. And that ending is what we'll essentially be taking off, leaving us with this stem. This verb means to take. And I'll give you some examples after. Io prendo. Here we have an O, just like in the first verb that we looked at. So the io form, io prendo. Prendo. I take, or I'm taking. Tu prendi. Ecco. So the ending for the to form has an I at the end again. Okay, now this is where ERE verbs differ from ARE verbs. The third person doesn't have an A. Prenda. No. Prende. Okay. He or she takes or is taking something. Okay, what did I say about the noi form? Noi. So let me put the root of the verb down here. Prend. Iamo. Prendiamo. We are taking. Prendiamo l'autobus. Let's take the bus. Okay, let's have a look. We're now on the voi form. Okay, so when it comes to voi, which is you, as in you, more than one of you, then we keep the E from the ere kind of sound, and then we add the TE. So parlare is parlate in the voi form, and prendere is prendete. Prendete. Now, this last person, third person ending, the loro form, is also a bit different. Prendono. So the A of the ARE verb in the he, she form is actually an E in the regular ERE verb, third person singular form. Prende. And instead of ate we have ete in the voi form because it's an ERE verb. And then instead of prendano, because it's an ERE verb and not an ARE verb, we've got ONO at the end. So you're going to see that in other ERE verbs. Okay, let's look at the third regular verb conjugation, which is again is at the top of my handout, which I'll be emailing to you. Partire. So actually quite a useful verb. Partire. So let me think about this. So take it back to the stem. Part. This means to go, by the way. Sorry, it means to depart. Sorry, I need to look then. To depart, as in to leave. So to not to leave like I don't know, something on the floor, or to leave your keys behind, but to leave as in to leave a place or to depart from a place. So for that reason, you'll use this verb a lot when it comes to transport, trains, planes, buses, leaving. Okay, so io parto. Tu parti. You get the hang of this. O-I. Third person also has an E on the end, just like ERE verbs. Parte. A che ora parte il treno? At what time does the train leave? Partiamo. Let's leave. Partiamo? Sì, partiamo. Partite. Can you see what's happened there? Ite. So the voi form just has ite instead of ete for the ERE verb and ate for the ARE verb. That kind of makes sense. And then what does that leave us with? They are leaving. They are departing. Let's take the stem of the verb. Part. Partono. Loro partono. So ono for the they form. That's the same for ere and ire verbs. They also have ire, ere verbs. Both have e at the end of the third person singular. Okay, so they're regular verbs, and you'll find them here at the top of the sheet. Okay, ecco qua. Parlare, to speak. Prendere, to take. And partire, to depart. Okay, now two very irregular but very, very common, very useful verbs. And I think I'll write them actually on here, just to have a little bit of space. So the first one is the verb to go. Andare. So if you were new to Italian, you might think, okay, well, she told me that you take the verb stem, and then you add an O, because it's an ARE verb. The theory's right, but in practice, because this is highly, highly irregular, let me just zoom in a bit, then you'll see just how irregular this verb is. The first conjugation, I go, I am going, doesn't even start with an A. Vado. Io vado a casa. I'm going home. Vado. Io vado. Vado. Starts with a V. Very strange. But it does end with an O, so that's something similar to what we've already seen. The tu form, informal singular you, vai. Vado, vai. Third person, he or she goes, or it's going. Va. You will probably know that from the question, come va? How is it going? Va bene. It is going well. That's from the verb to go. Andare, and it's the third person. It can mean lui va, he goes, lei va, she's going, or just simply it is going. And you'll notice that you don't need to use the pronoun. You don't always say io vado. You can just say vado plus something. Vado a casa. I'm going home. Dove vai? Where are you going? Dove. Dove vai? Where are you going? Come va? Va bene, grazie. So, very, very useful. All start with V's. But now we go back to the actual stem of the verb with an A-N-D. Andiamo. Now you will have heard that. It means let's go, or it means we're going. So any verb in the present tense we form will end in iamo, and it can be used to mean or to suggest that you do something. Mangiamo, let's eat. Compriamo qualcosa, let's buy something. Okay, so sticking with the actual stem of the verb now, and the voi form andate. So we've got three forms that start with V, don't know why. Andiamo, andate, and then we're flipping back to another V form. They go, vanno. So, how many minutes in are we? Nearly 14, and we're only 4 verbs in. Let's see if we can do the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relatively quickly. Okay, sorry to rush through them, but hopefully I'll be going at a pace which isn't too fast for those who come to my club. Okay, so andare is to go, vado, vai, va, andiamo, andate, vanno. Let's let's move that over there. So we're going to look at another irregular verb now, and it is the verb fare, which means che significa questo verbo? In inglese si può dire to go, to make or to do. So this one's to go, andare, put that up there. And this one can either translate as to do or to make. That's often the case with Latin-based languages. If you think of French, faire can mean to do or to make, and that really depends on how you translate it back to the English. Okay, so it's super, super irregular, this. Io faccio. Double C, I-O. Tu fai. You were doing, you were making. Lui, lei, fa. So I've chosen these next to each other because they're similar in some ways. They end in O. These rhyme. Vai, fai, va, fa. So the next one, facciamo. Che cosa facciamo? What are we doing? Facciamo. Okay, this next one here is probably as you'd expect an ARE verb to be conjugated in the voi form. Just take off the ending, which only leaves one letter, and then add ate. Che cosa fate? What are you doing, you guys? Non facciamo niente. We're not doing anything. Okay, and also in the loro form, fanno, they are doing. It looks very similar to vanno, so there's some similarities between those very irregular verbs. Okay, un'altra pagina. We need another one for this, I think. Okay, so these two are very, very useful. Oh, scusa. If you don't know these two verbs, I'd be quite surprised. That doesn't hurt to go back over the basics. So these are the auxiliary verbs. Essere, I'll try and make that nice and large. And that's not and or, it should be an and. Avere. So this one means to be, and this one means to have, or to have got, as in I have got a pet cat. So I'm going to hesitantly write that down here. To have got. Doesn't sit very well with me, that, but it does actually mean that. So let's think of an example. I'll do to have first. Ho una penna nera. I have a black pen. Ho. So you don't pronounce the H. I. Hai una penna? Do you have a pen? Sì, ho una penna. Grazie. So, ho, I. These look a bit similar to the ones we saw before. Ho, I, a. Next. Noi abbiamo, we have. Voi avete. You, plural, have. Voi. Loro hanno. Let me just make sure that you can see that. Okay, yeah, let me zoom in a little bit for you. So, avere, to have. So we use this verb with, what are the examples? So, not just with sentences that in English where we would say, I have 5 sisters. I have a nice car. I haven't got any money. Not just with phrases that translate directly as to have, but also sometimes with phrases that we translate as to be. So, let's see the examples. Okay. So when you are cold, or when you are hot, as in, oh, it's cold, oh, it's hot. In English, we use the verb to be. I am hot. In Italian, si dice, come si dice? Ho freddo. Oh, freddo. Ho caldo. So there's an example. To have hot, to have cold. So, attenzione. Okay, let's think. Essere. Very, very irregular in that it doesn't necessarily look anything like the stem. As you can see here, avere has some H's at the beginning, then it has A's, then it's back to H. Let's have a look at essere. So this is how you say I am, like, for example, io sono gallese, I am Welsh. Sono. Io sono gallese. Sei italiano? sei italiano? Are you in the to form Italian? Lui è italiano, ma lei è gallese. È. He or she or it is very, very common. You can also use that with lots of question words like dove. In fact, dove is a difficult one to start with. I'll start with quando. Quando è? When is it? Chi è? Who is it? Che cos'è? Che cos'è? Let me write che cos'è and dove for you, because it's not as easy a question word to put with this verb, and I'll show you why. Che cosa and dove. So these words, che cosa, or simply cosa, don't be surprised if you see that question without the che. That just means what. And dove, which means where. When you put the third person of essere, which means it is, here or there, it means, and now bear with me, it means what is it? On its own it means it is, but in front, after a question word or phrase, it means what is it or where is it? Ma attenzione, perché succede qualcosa, something happens. So instead of che cosa è or dove è, we have a contraction here. So we add an apostrophe in the written form. Che cos'è? So you take off the A because one vowel followed by another vowel is quite difficult for Italian, so they just make it shorter. Dove instead of dove è. So it would actually be written without the spaces, you know, and pronounced as if it's kind of one word. Che cos'è? È il mio dizionario. Dov'è? È qua. He or she is here. Okay, sono, sei, è, siamo, we are. Remember, iamo, at the ending of the we form. Siete, voi siete bravissimi. You guys are great. Sono. Sono and sono. That's a bit confusing. Sono can mean I am, but it can also mean they are. So, how would you tell the difference? It's a question I get asked a lot. So, not all the time, but most of the time, no, not all the time, but most of the time, this verb essere can be followed by adjectives, an adjective. For example, io sono grande, io sono vecchio, io sono triste, sono felice, etc. I am happy, sad, old, ugly, fat, thin, whatever you like. So let me give you an example of one that should work. Io, per esempio, sono britannico. No, oh, scusa, io non sono britannico. Perché? Perché se non sono maschile, sono una donna. Dunque, sono britannica. Per esempio, Donald Trump è americano, ma an American lady, I think Hillary Clinton, è americana. So the ending at the end of this has to agree with the gender of whoever's speaking. That's not really the point, but this is singular. So io sono britannica, not britannico because I'm a lady, but if we were talking about a bunch of ladies, they are British. Or a bunch of guys, that would be easier. They are British. Then the ending has to agree with the gender and the number. So sono britannico would become sono britannica if female, but sono britannico, sono britannico as in I am a male, is one of me, would become sono britannici. They are British. So the ending there, you can see if you're familiar with the endings of adjectives. This is the masculine plural. So if I were a guy and there were one of me and I was British, I would say sono britannico. You get it? I'm just looking at that thinking, is there one T and two N's, or are there two T's and one N? I think that's correct like that. Sometimes it's worth checking. Okay, so we've looked at the verbs, regular verb parlare, regular verb prendere, to take. Parlare is to speak, prendere to take, partire to depart or to leave from somewhere, not to leave something. Andare, very irregular, that means to go. Fare, to do or to make. And then the two auxiliary verbs, essere and avere. So with those, what I mean by that is, say for example you want to say I ate or I have eaten, I don't know, a pizza. I did actually eat a pizza this evening, half a pizza. Ho mangiato una pizza. Stasera ho mangiato. I have eaten. Ho mangiato. Abbiamo mangiato una pizza. So when I say there are auxiliary verbs, that means in other tenses, like the past tense, you need that part followed by something else to make the past tense. Ho mangiato. In fact, ho mangiato. This plus that equals the passato prossimo. It's one of the past tenses. I ate. I have eaten. Think of it like that. It's quite similar to the English. I have eaten. Okay, that gives me three verbs. Uno, due, tre. Let's see. I'm going to write them down on this board, I think. Under half an hour. I have been known to go on for longer. I'm going to try and keep it brief. So these three verbs at the end are modal verbs. They're super useful. So the first one is volere, and that doesn't mean to fly. That's volare, okay? So it's not that, it's volere, which means to want, as in I want some chocolate, or we want to go to a party, that kind of thing. So the useful thing about these verbs is they can be followed by a noun or nouns, or like plural noun, like I want some chocolates, I want a puppy, or whatever. Or they can be followed by an infinitive verb. So for example, we've been looking at infinitive verbs, that's the bit here before they're conjugated. So I want to eat an apple. To eat is an infinitive verb. Voglio mangiare una mela, voglio mangiare, voglio bere qualcosa, voglio parlare, etc. So these verbs, super useful. And let's do it like this. Bear in mind they're very irregular, and this isn't the polite conditional tense where you say I would like, vorrei, I would want, translates into English as I would like. This isn't the conditional, this is the present tense, so it's sounds a bit more direct. Voglio, I want, voglio, io voglio, tu vuoi, vuoi. You have to pronounce basically every letter in this, and it gets a little complicated. Vuole. See how irregular they are? Having said that, they do have an O, I and an E at the end, which is pretty normal for an ERE verb, but all the stem changes quite a lot. So, voglio, vuoi. For example, che cosa vuoi? What do you want? Che cosa vuole Paolo? Non lo so. Che cosa vuoi? Vogliamo. Vogliamo. See that GLI in the middle. Vogliamo. Liamo. So you'll see that GLI sound in things like tagliatelle, or gli italiani, gli americani, gli Stati Uniti. That gli sound, very, very common. So the voi form, you all want, volete imparare italiano. Loro vogliono. So the they form, they want, sounds a little bit like the I form. It's just got an N and an O after it. So that's volere. Let's think of an example. Io voglio parlare. Okay, I want to speak. Non voglio andare a scuola. I don't want to go to school. Voglio dormire. I want to sleep. Okay, let's look at the next verb, which is another modal verb. That means it can be followed by an infinitive verb. Okay, and let me show you the conjugations of this one first. So anyone who has the handout, which is going to be emailed to my club members, it will look like this. If you're quick, you can take a screen grab and zoom in, but it depends if it's nice and focused. So there you go. There's your chance to get a screen grab. The verb is dovere, which means to have to, or it can translate as must, as in like I must go now, I have to. That is something that is expected of you, or it's obligatory, that kind of thing. Or I ought to, if you like. Devo dormire. I have to sleep now. Devo dormire adesso. Devi. That's you have to, or you must. Lui, lei, deve. Okay, so these kind of follow a pattern, although instead of saying dovo, dovi, dove, as you might expect from the verb, it's devo, devi, deve. So that's that E's come from nowhere. That's why it's irregular. Take a look at this one. Guardiamo questo. Noi dobbiamo praticare la lingua italiana ogni giorno. You have to study Italian every day, or practice. Dovete. Okay, the voi form looks quite regular actually. It's got this, it follows the rules, keeps the stem, and it's got ete at the end. Okay. Devono. What you might find hard about all this stuff is like where to put the emphasis, and that just takes time and practice, and sometimes you'll get it wrong. I get it wrong sometimes, you know, it's normal when it's not your first language. Non vi preoccupate. Don't worry about it. Just practice and practice. And the best thing to do is go to Italy, but of course that's quite difficult at the moment, so listen to lots of podcasts, listen to music, watch TV online, on YouTube, you know, that kind of thing. Join groups on Facebook. You'll be able to learn and practice lots by using the internet. Right, the last one is the verb potere, which means to be able to do something, to be able, to be capable, that kind of thing. And it can also translate as can. So like I can, I can't, may I, that kind of thing. So super, super irregular. How can I do this? Posso usare questa penna? Can I use this pen? Sì, lo puoi. Yes, you can. Puoi. So this one rhymes with vuoi. You want, you can. Okay? Third person. Può. There's a little accent down over that O, which makes it very clipped. Può. You can use this in the not in the third person impersonal. I'll make a note to show you that. Si può. I'll remember that. Possiamo. We can. Or can we? Possiamo mangiare questa pizza? Can we eat this pizza? Potete. Sì, potete mangiare questa pizza. Sì. That's the voi form. Sì. Posso, puoi, può, possiamo, potete, possono. Possono. They can. So remember that this verb, like dovere before it and volere before it, they can all be followed by a verb in the infinitive form. And you can negate them just by putting non in front of it. So, non posso. Mi dispiace ma non posso. Puoi comprarmi una bella macchina. Non mi dispiace, non posso. For example, okay? Okay, so let me show you this example here with the third person of the verb potere, third person singular, which means he or she or one can, it can. If you put this si in front of it, si può, it's a bit like when you say come si dice, si può sentire molto bene. You can hear very well, but it's not referring to you. Here's a good example. Dove si può trovare un supermercato, per favore? It's a bit long-winded. Dove si può trovare? Where can one find? Where is it possible? Where can a supermarket be found? Dove si può trovare un supermercato? It's a bit like dove si trova? Where can one find? Dove si può? Where can one do something? So whenever you see a si in front of a third person conjugated verb, or sometimes a third person plural as opposed to third person singular, then that's like an impersonal way of talking. We'll do a little lesson on that maybe at some point. Okay, so we have seen parlare, prendere, partire. 3 common regular verbs, are, ere, ire endings. Then we've seen the verb to go, andare, and we've seen the verb to do or to make, which is fare. Then we've seen the auxiliary verbs essere and avere, to have and to be and to have. Then we've seen 3 modal verbs, volere, to want, dovere, to have to or must, and potere, which is to be able to. So let's just do a few examples and I'll write them on the board. E poi basta. Finiamo, ok? Dopo questo finiamo. After this we'll finish. You can probably tell I'm very tired. È stata una giornata lunghissima. Right, let's have a look. Some examples. So, do you speak English? How would we ask that question? Do you something? So do, in English, that word do isn't always the verb to do or to make. That's something different. Do functions as like I'm asking you a question. So in Italian you need to know which you are you using in that question. Do you speak English? Do you speak English? It's actually 3 ways of asking this, but we're going to use the voi form just for the sake of ease. So let's put voi. That means you guys. Do you speak English, you guys? So what we need to do is go to the verb to speak, look at the 5th one down, which is parlate. That means you speak plural, and then all of that is contained in that one word. How efficient is that? It's nice, isn't it? Then we just need to add inglese. Now, I know there isn't a capital letter on that, like an uppercase I on that, but generally it's not, unless you're talking about an Englishman, un inglese. Otherwise, don't be surprised if you see languages with a lowercase I. Parlate inglese. So what you do there, you just conjugate the verb depending on the version of you that you want to use, and you use your intonation to show it's a question. Parlate inglese? Sì, parliamo inglese. Yes, we speak English. Let's look at another. Okay, I'll take a coffee. So the reason I've put that in is because when you're placing an order, in English we tend to say, I'll have the spaghetti. I'll have that. I'll have this. In Italian you might hear the verb prendere. So I'll take a coffee. I'll have a coffee, basically. I'll have or take a coffee, as in that's what I'm choosing in my order. So in English you might think I will take, I will have. You might think present tense, you might think future tense because I will something, future. Actually, if it's something that you're about to do, like right after you've said it, like I'll get the door, I'll answer the phone, I'll have the coffee, you use the present tense in Italian, okay? So I'll take a coffee. Prendo un caffè. Okay? And bear in mind that if you're in Italy, un caffè doesn't really explain what kind of coffee you want. So there's a whole lesson that I do on different types of coffee, espresso, caffè lungo, cappuccino, eccetera. Dunque, simply un caffè, without explaining, that'll do. Prendo, I will have, or I'll take. Okay, let's have a look. We will translate. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing this evening? So if you want to ask any of those questions in those ways, let's say in the to form, right? We need the verb fare, which means to do. And that's that one. And we need to put it in the to form. So you go to down the list. That gives you fai. What if we're asking, what are you doing? So the you are doing bit is here. We need to put che cosa in front of it. Che cosa fai? If you want to put it in the voi form, what are you guys doing? Just change the verb to the voi form. Che cosa fate? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, we're going to use the verb to have now. Let's do it over here. Avere, to have, or have got, if you like. We're going to ask, do you have something? So, what can we ask? Do you have... here's a great example. Do you have a bottle of red wine? It's quite a long one. So, una bottiglia di vino rosso. All of that goes at the end. So we just need do you have. So we don't need to translate do at the beginning of a sentence because that doesn't exist in Italian. But what we do need to do is decide which version of of you we need. So hai una bottiglia di vino rosso, or you could say avete una bottiglia di vino rosso. Now that's the informal singular to form, as is this. This is the voi form, which is plural, as is this. You can also ask a you question. Do you have something? Or what are you doing? In the lei form, right? So that's the third person. So that's the way that you ask one person in the formal polite way. For example, you ask a doctor, or you ask someone who's older than you. So let's conjugate this verb. Ha una bottiglia di vino rosso. It's the lei form. That's a bit like the vous form in French when you're asking someone politely. It can get confusing though, because it looks like you're asking, does he have a bottle? Does she have a bottle? But it's just the third person singular, so you're on the right track. What are you doing this evening? Let's put that in the formal. Che cosa fa? Third person form. Third person singular of that is the polite. Okay, last one. Okay, here's one. I have to go now. I have to go now. Let's put it on here. I have to. So you need. This isn't the verb to have. It's to have to. I have to. I must. Okay? Or even I should. Okay? So those two there are in fact all of those can be translated by devo from the verb dovere. I have to go. No, let's say I have to leave. Okay? I have to I have to leave, as in to go. So devo partire. Should know that because it's the one at the top right. Now, let's use adesso. Devo partire adesso. I hope that was useful. So there are 10 essential verbs. Have a look through them, write them out 10 times each if you need to. Practice forming questions with them. Think of the kind of questions you might ask or need to ask when you're in Italy next. Think about how you'd make them negative. I don't have to go now. Non devo partire adesso. So I hope that's very useful, and I hope you're all safe and well, and if you've got any questions just feel free to get in touch. You can find my details in the description below. Grazie mille e buona serata. Alla prossima volta, ciao!